Welcome to the Couch Potato Sports Show, your internet radio home for all sports, news, and talk. Join Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, and the Eagle Eye, Bill Cerna, and the best co-host anyone could ask for, Cuervo. We cover it all. NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, as well as indoor football and high school sports. Now, it's time. Here's Sonny Clark.
Hardest working man in sports radio, as we are here on the Sunday, afternoon/morning tradition that is the Couch Potato Sports Show. Thanks for joining us here as we get set, guys. We are 1 week away from when Cuervo and I and a host of others will go ahead and start looking at looking at all the divisions of football. And I'm not sure what we're going to start with. I'm going to ask Cuervo that. But I have got my homework done. It took a while because this year's a little bit different, because when you're taking a look at the stats from the COVID year, and I know this is weird, because we saw the games with the audience pumped in and everything else, so it really wasn't like we were missing anything, or were we? It just really doesn't matter. Were the games really different without fans than they were? Did some guys actually exceed because there were no fans? There's a lot of things to take in consideration for what happened last year compared to the years past, when obviously we had a full boat as far as people at the game. So that being said, of course, that's the name of this show. I did take a lot of that in my thinking, and I'm done, but I'm not. I just in case, this right here is just a little bit of part of what I've been doing as far as getting ready. And it's been one of these weeks here that, just looking at things and finding out where guys are and what they're doing is one of the hardest things to do. And what is a real killer is if you're working hours on this like I have, then you go to week one and all your threes just get shot to hell. Last year, that's what happened. The year before, though, and the year before that, I had a good week number 1, 2, and 3. And I didn't win last year, but I won the year before that, and then the year before that, and the Cuervo won the 1 year. But so that being said, all the work, we have to find out if it was good enough. We have to find out what we are looking at, and I will be changing, as we get to each division that we'll talk about. But right now, I'm pretty set, and these are based upon injuries from now. There's some key injuries this week, and I have not had time to take a look at those key injuries and see what and how that affects the rankings that I had. Again, guys, I got pages and pages and more pages. I got a spiral notebook of teams and everything, keeping tracks of totals and things like that. And it doesn't end. I mean, there's just a lot of work that I do in order to figure out the divisions, who's going to win, and that also takes us in who we think is going to win some other divisions and things of that sort. So really interesting stuff going on here. Also, to let everybody know, it seems like we're having some internet problems. We've been having them most of the day, but it's been working most of the time. So if you hear some lag or see some lag or whatever the case may be, know that today, out of all the days, I haven't had really much of a problem, for weeks past, but today seems to be a tough day for the internet. So we'll keep you ahead of that and keep you on track on where that's at. Lots of news that's going on in the NFL, and you can say whatever you want, but the time is coming. And I don't know, guys, if you watched preseason games, congratulations. Only thing I get out of preseason games is where guys are sitting. And I'll give you an example. Thursday Night Football penned the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, the Dallas Cowboys are in trouble. I say this because I was watching this game and they were starting seconds. And that quarterback was having a hard time for the Dallas Cowboys with the seconds. So they better hope that they don't lose Dak for any extended period of time, or they're in a lot of trouble. See, and I find very interesting right now, there are some guys that are out there that can be gotten. The question is what will it take for them to be gotten? But there's some guys that are also in tradables and things out there. And the Dallas Cowboys, after Thursday night, they needed to be up on the phone. They needed to be finding someone. They needed to see if someone was available. They needed a lot. But the question is what's it going to take to get some of these guys? We look back last week when we saw the Indianapolis quarterback, of course, Carson Wentz, going down, and now the reports are he's going to be out a minimum of 9 weeks. So that takes you into about week 5 of the NFL, and you can make or break your season within that time. And it has reflected in my notes and how I was figuring things out as far as who was doing what and where and why. So Indianapolis, who was actually in a very good place, you take the intangible of not having a good quarterback in there, and it changes the whole dynamic of your football team. So much so that there's certain positions out on the football field that make a big difference. And that being obviously number one, the quarterback. You know how I feel about the number 2 position. I think it is the offensive line, and then number 3, I think it's the backup quarterback. But on the defensive side, cornerbacks are a huge, part of your team. Whether or not they'll be good, bad, or indifferent. And if you have one or at least 2 that are a great tandem, it'll be really interesting to see what teams are going to be doing later on, because cornerback play in some of these divisions that we're looking at, they're bad. They're not just, based upon what I know from the players, based upon research I've done on the players, seeing what they are talking about these players. Some of these divisions of football at the cornerback position are in trouble. Linebacker, another one. So, interestingly enough, when you are going to figure out who's going to win divisions, there are a lot of things in there that you got to take into account when you're doing that. And we'll do that. We do one of the best at doing it, figuring out who and where and what guys are going to do what and what teams are going to do what. And we do that one of the best right here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. And again, 12 years in the business. We've been doing this a while, and we're going to continue on. At the end of the season, it'll be in February. It'll be 13 years, and this is just what we do and what we do best. So, just to give you an idea, starting next week, there's 4 weeks that we'll be taking a look at divisions in football. Okay, and then it goes to week number 1. And then from that time, week number 1 until the end of the season, okay, total 18 weeks, we'll be starting at 9 o'clock, taking you up to kickoff. So be ready for that. That's going to be something, for week after week. Hopefully we'll get some of our regulars in there, whether it's Obi, whether we get Bryce and Brooklyn, Tarvin, Jonathan that might be joining us as well. Jonathan, by the way, will be joining us for the picks. As far as who is doing what within the division. So it'll be interesting to hear somebody besides just me and Cuervo and getting that outside look. And listen, guys, if you don't know anything about Jonathan, he's been a guest on this show. This guy knows college football. He knows football. He's got definitely a opinion. You'll enjoy his take up on things that are happening within the NFL. You'll enjoy that. So watch out for that. Some things that are going on in the division, according to what this was a little bit earlier today, the Washington Redskins are going to play Ryan Fitzpatrick and other starters in this preseason game. How long they'll play, that will obviously be the biggest thing that you'll take a look at. That also been said. Some other things, Aaron Rodgers hopes more athletes will break the stigma around mental health. See, we're getting a lot. And here's what I'm going to tell you right now, as far as this show. These are some things that are used, that people talk about. On our show, we're going to kind of stay away from issues and we're going to keep it football. Okay, mental health and everything, understandably about players and where they are, that is a concern. But our football show, in reality, guys, we're talking about football and the things that go on between the end zones. So we'll probably stay away from a lot of those issues outside of it, because we don't want to get in the middle of it, because we want to talk football. We don't want to talk issues. We're not interested in the issues of the day. We're interested in football. And I know sometimes when I'll make a statement like that, that might offend somebody. Okay, but when this show it's about football, it's not about issues. Okay, and I don't want to get ingrained with an argument with someone about issues more so than I want to talk about the play out on the football field, not before and not what they're doing off the football field regarding issues as far as anything, social issues or whatever the case may be. We won't be doing that on this show, just to keep everybody informed, especially during the season where we got a 3-hour show on Saturday and we got to get through all the games. So the last thing we were going to do is spend a lot of time dealing with that. And if that's what you're looking for, you might want to find a different show to watch, because frankly, I don't care if you watch. We do this show to help people or just entertain people. And that entertainment stays on the football field, and that's where we're going to be out there. Just also some big signings and some re-signings and Josh Allen's deal and all this other stuff. Big, huge. Now, there was a guy, Xavier Howard, making some big noise about his contract. Well, they have agreed to restructure his contract, so it'll be interesting. Also, the Colts get their big signing on one of their guys. We'll talk about that as well. Devin Finch apologizes for using an anti-Asian slur. That's the things that we're not going to talk about, just to let you know. All right, so that also being said, Lane Kiffin gets Mississippi football to a 100% vaccination rate. He is the only one that has put it out there that he's got the vaccination rate. Now, we'll talk about that part as far as what it affects out on the football field, okay? If they're not going to have everybody on, if guys are going to be missing because of vaccines. And that's the only thing that we'll be really talking about outside of football, because that does make a big difference. Also, Lorenzo Neal and signed by the Broncos. They also waived Tedrick Thompson, DJ Clark. Finger surgery. They do expect him to play for the Jaguars in week number 1. So I'll tell you right now, lots of things going on in the NFL, and we're going to be talking about them, and we're going to be going over them. Some things of interest for some people, maybe not others, but we'll do that. But what we're going to do now, since we got time, and Cuervo is not in here yet, we'll hop into our first commercials, and then when we come back, we'll bring Cuervo hopefully in when he gets ready, and then we'll get on with the show. So you're watching the Couch Potato Sports Show, 12 and a half years within the business, keeping it up, keeping it here for you. We'll be back after the break.
This is Sonny Clark, radio voice of your Rowlett Eagles, letting you know about RowlettFood.com. Do you want to have dinner delivered but you don't want to use Uber Eats? Contact someone locally that can do the same thing at a better price and faster. All you have to do is pick a restaurant on the list at the website, tell us what you'd like to order, then check out, and you'll have your food within 25 to 45 minutes, depending on distance. Check out RowlettFoods.com for your next meal at Raising Cane's, Golden Pie, Ponchos and Lefty, and more. Give us a call at 972-408-8002 or check us out on the web at RowlettFood.com. This is Sonny Clark, radio voice of your Rowlett Eagles, letting you know about Landon Huey and 19 Ministries.
One of the things we want to do is we have this idea, the name that's kind of sticking right now is Rowlett Revival. And we know that there are a lot of hurting and broken people across the city. Out of a population of 60,000, there's close to 40,000 that aren't saved. And we want to do like a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday where we'll bring in a guest speaker, and he's just going to share the love of Christ. And we want to connect people in the city up with churches, and where they can find a healthy church family and find people that believe in them and find a God that loves them. Jesus came for a broken world, and man, he loves and cares for everybody in the city. And so we're excited about that. We're working through details right now, but our vision is to see God's going to reach a lot of people.
So make sure you contact Landon Huey at 19 Ministries at 972-835-8665, or check them out on the web at 19ministries.org or uniterowlett.org. This is Sonny Clark, radio voice of your Rowlett Eagles, asking, are you looking for a new home? Want to know what your house could sell for in today's market? Then you need to contact Realtor Jeremy Morgan with Ray Hubbard Real Estate Group at Keller Williams Rockwall. Whether you're buying, selling, leasing, or investing, he can help you get where you need to be. Visit RayHubbardRealEstateGroup.com or make an appointment today by calling 214-236-2914. That's 214-236-2914. Jeremy Morgan with Ray Hubbard Real Estate Group, Keller Williams Rockwall. Find out how Merchant Masters DFW, specializing in small business companies, can help you save money and protect your customers' information with our credit card processing and point-of-sale systems. In 95% of our cases, our services save our clients money. So, what makes Merchant Masters DFW different from all the others? It's an integrity-first approach to each client we work with, so you receive the very best, including financial savings, lowest possible rates, superior technology, and improved support. So claim your free audit at merchantmastersdfw.com or contact John Beeman at 262-339-5470 for more information. That's 262-339-5470. Merchant Masters DFW, different from all the rest.
Ever want to know why Bill and I look so great on our broadcast? Check out K West Designs on Facebook to find out why. Check out all the samples that Kelly has got up so you can see, especially if you have that special occasion that needs something original, something designed, something that just says, this is our moment. Check out K West Designs on Facebook or give her a call at 469-601-5856. That's 469-601-5856. Again, K West Designs. Make yourself look original or different or just something just for you. K West Designs. Welcome back into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, as we are here on our Sunday tradition. It is the Couch Potato Sports Show. And that being said, hope everybody had a great weekend. And I was troubled with some news last night. And those that don't know, I was actually I wanted to go to an indoor football game because my buddy, the Eagle Eye Bill Cerna, is a coach for the Spokane Shock, the indoor football league. But I had an earlier obligation of wrestling last night. So I called some wrestling and missed my buddy Bill Cerna coaching right here in the Dallas area for the Frisco Fighters. So I missed that, unfortunately. But I had a great time last night at the Dallas Elks Lodge calling wrestling. So even though we have not been able to call any football games, we've been able to take care of the wrestling and maybe fill some of my missing things that I've been missing as far as that's concerned. So that being said, lots of things within the news as far as teams are concerned, and there seems to be some people that will look at football teams and just decide, well, I don't like this one guy. Will that one guy be a difference for a football team? And when you think one guy, usually, and especially in the AFC, and if you go to the AFC North, you talk about a guy that, has always been a guy that steps up and, how do you say it? He just makes it interesting. And that's Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson at the quarterback position has definitely changed football and what it is. Good, better, and different. Well, let me talk about that next time when we talk about the Baltimore Ravens, because the Baltimore Ravens are going to be interesting. But here's the situation right now. Lamar Jackson returned to the Baltimore Ravens facility on Friday, but it's unknown when the quarterback is going to get to the practice field. So thinking about it, and actually mark that, because I had that one on Saturday. He actually did. He was in full team practice and ready to go. So he is a guy, when you take a look at a football team, is this the guy the main reason why they are going to be where they are? We'll talk about that when we start talking about the divisions of football. But as far as the Ravens are concerned, they have signed outside linebacker Justin Houston to a one-year deal, $4 million. That's according to Adam Schefter. Oh, by the way, and just let everybody know, I'm sorry, I thought everybody knew, but the reason why we did not see Lamar Jackson as he tested positive for COVID-19 last week. So that's the reason why he wasn't at the facility and wasn't allowed to be there. I'm just under. If I know it, I think everybody knows it, but that was the reason why. And it's going to be really interesting because there are some guys that came off of the COVID deal, and it really affected their game. It really did. There was something about how they played and when they played that after they got it, they weren't up to snuff. So I'm going to be really interested, and that's an intangible when you're taking a look at a football team and when you're breaking down the teams that we also do. So interestingly enough, also the Ravens allowed fans in for their practicing of, some of their training camps. So they let the fans in, which is really an interesting deal. I would think, just to be safe, until week number 1, you just keep all those people out of there. They don't need to be there. And with the way the COVID's happening, the way that's being spread right now, you can say whatever you want, guys. COVID-19 is going to play a part in the season, whether it'll be a forfeit, whether it'll be guys not being able to play, or whatever the case may be. Listen, here's my take up on it, and I'll be right, wrong, or indifferent. If it gets to the point, you have to follow the guidelines of the NFL. Regardless if you like them or not, it is the way that it is. And if it affects you as a football team, if I see a forfeit, I think I'm going to puke. And I say this is because, yes, you have your quarterback, yes. But what I don't like is just automatic give up. It's like hockey, guys. And I've said this for years, and I'll keep saying it. This emergency goalie crap goes up totally against the roster limit. Okay, you lose your goalie. Well, someone else has to step in and be a goalie that's on the active roster. Not an emergency guy. And especially, some of the stories I've heard, these are guys that haven't played, forever or whatever the case may be. I don't give a rat's fat, but, okay, if they've never played goalie before, if they're not on an active roster or an emergency goalie crap, I've never been for that. So I'm wondering if that's what's going to end up happening in the NFL special rules. I don't think so. Okay, if you don't have a backup quarterback, or your big guy's going to go down, or whatever the case may be, or you're down this many at that position, so be it. You don't get the opportunity to have an emergency quarterback crap. I hate that. The idea of that, and by the way, it's being thrown around. So I'm not a great big fan of that. I have never been a big fan of that kind of thinking, especially in the National Hockey League. So watch out for that. Now, think about Aaron Rodgers before we get Cuervo in here. Aaron Rodgers, if you think about that whole situation in the off season, and guys, if you didn't see the video of Aaron Rodgers last week upon our show, and the more I thought about it, and the more I watched it, the more, I was listening to this guy. And I used to be kind of an Aaron Rodgers fan. But what I'm getting from him is crybaby bullshit, and I'm tired of it. Here's a guy who obviously doesn't know what team he plays on or the type of ownership that they got. He also doesn't seem to understand that within that kind of mindset, as far as Green Bay and the Packers are concerned, there are certain things they'll do for players and certain things they won't, and he thinks he's above it. And this almost gets to the point where the crybaby nonsense that he's not getting his way is driving me nuts, and the stories about him are driving me nuts. So this guy needs to get rid of the crybaby bullshit, and he needs to go out and play football. I'm almost not wanting to hear from Aaron Rodgers regarding anything, especially if you saw that press conference when he came back. It was pretty pathetic. And I say pathetic because, when I saw and listened to what he said, Cuervo said he got what he was saying. And to me, it just came out to more entitlement. We got problems with players in the NFL or NBA and maybe guys with entitlement factors. Well, I'm a guy that owns my business, and I also work for, and folks already know that I work for U-Haul. Okay. The rules that what I do as far as my business are totally different than what they are at U-Haul. But if I want to remain at U-Haul, which I do, I got to go by their rules. Okay. I'm not wearing a tie. Okay. I'm wearing a polo shirt with the word U-Haul on it. So needless to say, my opinion about anything regarding anything at U-Haul means jack squat. Aaron Rodgers needs to understand that he's not the owner of his business. Now, he's the owner of his brand, but the monies that come to him and the money that he makes on branding and outside of football, congratulations, he should be able to run it any way that he wants. But when it comes to the Green Bay Packers, and when it comes from, I don't feel like I'm being utilized or they're talking to me about certain things, I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of it from players. I'm tired from any guys, especially LeBron James. I'm tired of hearing all this crap. And, Todd may be right. Was this thing a whole joke? What was he trying to do? Listen, if he was trying to look for an excuse not to be there, all he had to say is like, guys, I'm not going to go to these volunteer. I'll go when I'm mandatory to go. And then if you don't like that, then trade me. Get rid of me. And I would have had more respect for it because I don't think what he is doing or how he's going about it in reality is good for him, good for the Packers, because it's not good for him that maybe he would get what he wants, but what does he look at from now on? What does he look like? Looks like a crybaby. I don't get what I want, and they don't get it, blah, blah, blah. So, guys, and Todd, I agree. I think it is somewhat of a joke. I think there's a lot of things that are going on. And I'm going to say it, and I know Cuervo disagrees with me. I think the Packers are the ones that are in full command of this thing, because what's going to happen? He's not going to play for another football team if he decides that decided that he wanted to retire. He wasn't going anywhere unless the Packers decided that they were willing to let that happen. And I got news for you. If it was going to happen, he'd be in the AFC. And if it was going to happen, that would be the only reason why it would happen. They'd make him retire because he's under contract. If the guy doesn't want to show up for his contract and play football, so be it. He won't play anywhere else. Now, good, bad, or indifferent, the Packers would have been in that situation, and I would have been probably on their side about it because I am at the point with Aaron Rodgers. Listen, I know how good. Now, the difference between LeBron James and Aaron Rodgers is that I think, and this is a personal opinion, okay, The NBA is hard to watch, okay? The NBA is a bunch of wimps. They're, and they crybaby in about a lot of other stuff. NFL, if someone gets mad about a flag not being thrown, I think I'm okay with it because they're taking more of a beating than anybody on the NFL, on the NBA court. So when I look at Aaron Rodgers, though, he is getting to the point to where I don't want to watch him. I don't want to listen to him. And I don't care about his off-field problems. I don't care what he wants. Okay? Because when someone is paying you to do a job, they're not interested in too much of your opinion. But in today's world, we're not allowed to say things like that. That might hurt his feelings. Well, I think the Packers played this perfect. And know what I would do if I was the Packers? Okay, Aaron, I'll give you what you want. We would sit down, have this weekly meeting and stuff like that, and give them crap that means absolutely nothing, which is what any corporation would do, and act like they're listening to him and be done with it. No, he's not. It's just more of the fact there, Cuervo. It's just more of a. The guy is just continually whining, and I'm continually watching this guy and realizing that I think he drives me insane. So I got 3 minutes until I get Cuervo in here. He's warming up that computer and getting it ready to go. By the way, I had to change my shirt. I had green in it, so I was just like, hey, I was comfortable, but I had to change the shirt. I had striped greens going across, and you can see the background because that's wonderful green screen. So Aaron Rodgers, there's a lot of things that, I don't know. What did he get? What did he get in reality? In reality, I think what we got is just a prelude on what we're going to see next year. He's back. Oh, congratulations. And by the way, just to let everybody know, there is no question that Aaron Rodgers caved in. Okay? Now, he didn't want to start losing a lot of money. 2 days, $100,000. Listen, the guy makes a lot of money. If he wants to skip training camp and all this some of these other things that don't cost as much, okay, that's fine. But $50,000 a day. Okay, in 2 days, you just lost $100,000 for not showing up. Listen, that guy caved in like a bad habit. He don't want to lose that money. Now, granted, this guy makes a lot of money elsewhere. But now, since they restructured the deal between him and the Packers, and that has become official, the Packers get their franchise quarterback. They get him for 2 years, this year and next year. And, after that, he got his, what's that thing? He got that belt switch. He got what he wanted to be there. And then all this stuff. So here's just to give you an idea, okay? They're going to convert a large chunk of his salary. That's $14.6 million into a guaranteed payment for his services. Okay? That way they can open up the door and have more money to sign more people. And that was Randall Cobb was one of them and some other guys. Okay, so that part is there. Besides the guarantee, though, it doesn't mean anything more so than next year he's gonna pocket close to 20. I think it was 27 million. So say whatever you want after next season. There's no more contract. And then either the Packers will then listen to him, or the Packers will just let him go and move on to their next quarterback. Good, bad, or indifferent, you can say whatever you want. Well, the green for the show, if you have a green screen, Cuervo, because if I put on green, you can see my background. It's just like my cup, like a coffee cup. See, it's got green in it. You can see. You can see right to the green screen. So, no. Where you're great. But, hey, but green for not being an Aaron Rodgers fan, I completely get it. So, now, think about this. So, 2 years. If something happens to Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers are off the hook. But if they win a Super Bowl, That's when some negotiations are going to come on. Listen, the Green Bay Packers have already gave him money, and supposedly the money's not what this is about. Listen, I got news for you. It's all about the money, okay? Say whatever you want, and if they won't listen to him, he'll ask for more. Guys, that's what this is coming down to. Because really, does Aaron Rodgers want to play for a different team? Now, we've already seen that kind of thing move around, although only one has really been successful. Of course, that's Tom Brady. First year out, goes out, wins a freaking Super Bowl. But outside of that, when you think about guys that have switched teams, was it really successful for them? And nowadays, with all the money that is going on, it seems like a money grab. And think about this, 2 more years. That's an 18-year commitment to one guy at one position. That's long enough. So in reality, when you look at all this stuff and how it all went down, Aaron Rodgers caved. There's no question that he caved. And he should have caved because, listen, he misses 4 days. That's $200,000. And I got news for you. $200,000 is going to impact even Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what he gets paid for the double-click thing from Allstate or whatever the damn company is, but that's an endorsement deal in 2 days. It's not a great idea. And yes, guys, he caved and caved hard. Say whatever you want. Love this guy or not, but he's back. And the NFC North totally changes without him in it compared to with him in it. And, of course, when we start talking about divisions, we'll tell you how much. How are things going on in Indianapolis right now? You want to talk a team that has been quiet after losing their guy? What the hell is going on in Indianapolis? Is it quiet because maybe they are looking at Andrew Luck and trying to bring him back? Are they really listen, this is a team, by the way, that was actively looking at Marcus Mariota. And listen, that's still within the works. I'm going to tell you right now, Marcus Mariota is going to be an Indianapolis Colts. Mark my words, guess what? Old Sonny. Can't find his other one. I'll find it in like a week or two, maybe even a month. But I got me a new Mark My Word book right here. So I will keep tracking of all Mark My Words that we do on the show. But I'm telling you right now, Marcus Mariota is going to be an Indianapolis Colt. Mark my words, it is 4:07 on August 8th. And so I'm going to mark my words and put it down because that's what's going to end up happening. And if it doesn't, the Indianapolis Colts are crazy. Now, if they are somehow figuring out how to get Andrew Luck back, okay, so be it. But guys, listen, Andrew Luck hasn't touched football in a long time. So 8/8/21, Mariota will be a Colt. So there we go. It's a mark my word. Hard truth. I don't know. But I'm telling you something right now, guys. If they don't go after Marcus Mariota, that'd be the dumbest thing ever. They'd be in a situation. By the way, Cuervo, I see you in the green room, but I don't see you. I see your box. I don't see your face. I don't know. You might have to reconnect. I don't know. But Marcus Mariota being part of the Indianapolis Colts only is a good thing. It's not a bad thing at all. So when you are looking at Indianapolis and trying to figure out where they're going to be within the division, we talk about a division of football that really is as bad as maybe anybody thinks it is. Well, maybe it is. I have a tendency to think that it is, but again, when we look at it, we'll find out. And there, look at that. I see him right there.
You can't see me.
You can't see the man. It is Cuervo. He is the MVP of this fine program. I'm glad he was able to make it in as he's doing double duty. He's doing some studying and everything. Good to see you. But I can see you. How you doing? Good morning. Well, no, it's afternoon. Where are you at now?
It is, yeah. It's a little after 2 p.m. over here.
Got it. So, how things going?
Got my hands full.
I know you got homework at school, and then you got homework to figure out the divisions of football. And Cuervo, listen, I got paperwork after paperwork, and by the way, I got a new Mark My Word page, and all the work that it took, and a moment, and so all I got to do is figure out intangibles. As far as like injuries and what's going to end up happening, going for the rest of it before we get into it. By the way, what division of football are we going to start off with? North, South, East, or West? Can't do West because unless your lady's ready.
No, she won't be ready next weekend.
East, I don't think we can do yet because I'm waiting for a couple people. Or North. I'm waiting for people within the North. Jimbo says he can definitely cover the Browns. Question is will he be able to come on live? If not, I'll just do a little quick video with him and put it up and play it. Have not heard back from Bryce. Don't know if we will. If we do, great. And then Tarvin says he will do the Patriots when we're ready. So, and if we have to do some of them recorded, we might have to end up doing that. But so that means we should probably we can start in this exactly. That's where I was going to go. We should probably start south because there's not really. I mean, I'm on the Jaguars, so I'm going to be there. So NFC and AFC South, and Jonathan is going to be joining us. All 4 weeks. I spoke with him, so he's going to join us all 4. He's going to do the Bucks and keep up with them as well. And some of the other teams down in the Florida area because they're all playing the South. So that'll be really interesting to get his take up on that, and that'll be next week. And then the question is, when are we going to kick this off? What time next week are we going to do this, Cuervo? I'm wide open. I'm wide open as the door, ready to walk through.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it all depends on, what the schedule's looking like with the old lady. But tentatively right now, same time.
3:30, tentatively, unless something changes from the old lady. Got that in mind. So next week, it'll be 3:30. Got some people that want to be joining us. Also, just to let everybody know, when we do our picks and everything, I'm going to find a celebrity and see how the celebrities do against us, which I've been in contact with Claire Carey, and she actually was really excited about doing some football picks. So Claire Carey, Kelly from Coach, is going to be a celebrity game picker, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm opening up doors to a lot of things, and then, hey, Cuervo, in just 5 weeks, we're going to be kicking off right at 9 o'clock my time and taking it right up to kickoff. And I'm telling you right now, I'm ready to do that today. But
yeah, right.
Yeah, it's just like. But so let me ask you this: did you watch any of the game on Thursday? And have you watched? I'll be honest, I didn't watch any preseason game except Dallas, and I only watched a little bit of that. I got an opinion about that. We'll talk about that in a moment. But have you watched any of it? Any of the preseason games at all?
Well, I mean, it's only been that one game, Sonny. All the other teams start next weekend.
Oh, okay. But, I thought they were in action today. So there you go. How much?
Yeah, I mean, it's changed a little bit. How they schedule the preseason and how spread out it is. But yeah, this weekend you only got the Hall of Fame game, and then everybody else starts next weekend.
All right. So we'll see. Are you gonna watch any of it?
No.
I probably, unless I'm bored. Because next month in September, there's not going to be a wrestling event. So it kind of worked out good for looking at the games and stuff and taking time and doing that. So, but I'm literally ready to go without intangibles right now. I'm all set. I got my picks. I know who's as of right now without, some major injuries that are going on. But that is the big question in reality, the injuries. If you take a look at the Steelers right now, they right now are being decimated with some injuries here early in training camp, just not to vital personnel in reality. But this one right here, AC, I think is a big one because I think they expected a lot from him this year going into the season, especially at the cornerback position as a backup. I think that was a bad loss for them in reality going into the season right now. And amongst others, by the way.
Yeah, that would be the one weakness defensively that the Steelers have is at corner. They just, they're always middle of the pack type. They've never had that dominant corner shoot. I don't know,
think they ever had a dominant quarter, like the shutdown corner. I don't think they've ever had one of those.
Not since Rod Woodson, but I'm sure, after him, there's probably somebody that we're forgetting about, but
probably, and probably smack us in the face, go, kind of thing. Yeah. So, but you're right. As far as the defense is concerned, that you want to talk about challenging. Preseason, and again, not talking about the division or the team, but in reality, this is a football team right now that expectations are high, but I don't know if they really should be. And is the expectations up there because they're expecting a lot from Big Ben this year as well?
Yeah, but is that a realistic thing to do? Is expect a lot from Ben Roethlisberger, and I'm not questioning his talent. I'm questioning his health. I'm questioning his durability. I'm questioning his arm strength. Those are the things that I'm questioning. I don't question his ability at all from a mental standpoint. He's obviously he's smart to based on the career that he's had, he's doing something right. So
doing something, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't question that. It's more of his abilities physically,
right?
And his health, and so based on the injuries that he's had and how much he's been out the past couple of years, Sonny, I don't know if there's an over under on how many games he's going to play this year, but I would imagine it's probably no more than 10 to 12.
Well, I was going to say 9, and I think the week 1 through 4 is going to be a real come to Jesus for the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially at the quarterback position because of what they have got to go ahead and put in week after week. It will be that mental challenge. Can you get over the constant being hit? Because let's be honest, and hold on, I'll tell you where, I'm not going to give away a lot of the stuff that I got, but when you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers and their offensive line, it's not pretty right now. And the fact that they didn't really address it in the offseason in reality, and lost a few guys, by the way, as well, that puts them in a point of the, in the pack where you're just like, whoa, what happened to this offensive line? And what can you – I think we'll see Ben Roethlisberger running a lot. And by the way, you don't want to see that man running a lot.
No.
Too big. He's too big. He's not Kyler Murray. He's not these guys that can run around there and get, and do stuff with his feet. So,
well, that's the thing though, Sonny. He's been doing it for so long where he does run. He's taken so many hits over the years that I just don't think his body can handle it anymore.
Yep. And not only that, when he does start moving around, he does not look like he used to look like 5 years ago. He looks like an old man trying to run the football right now. So Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers, they've got a lot of things that they got to worry about come week number 1 of the NFL. Where will they be health-wise? Health-wise is going to be the big part of it, and say whatever you want. And, yeah, there's a rookie running back from Bama that is expected to go in there. A health
Najee Harris is his name.
Yeah, exactly. So that whole thing, that will be really interesting. I think Pittsburgh getting to week number 1 was one of the things that that's the reason why I brought up Pittsburgh. Cuervo, so I'm going to ask you, when you are looking at all the teams in the NFL, who are you looking at that you might have some grave concerns getting to week number 1, where you think that they really should be compared to where they actually will be?
Where they should be compared to where they will be. Now, do you mean like
injuries getting there and stuff like that, and or will they live up to potential? Like the Pittsburgh Steelers got that running back. Will he live up to a potential? Will he be that impact player? And what really should you expect? So you looking at a football team, when you look at the Steelers right now, you expect them to really be in the playoffs. I'm sorry, you should. And if you don't, you don't know football. Sorry, you don't. Even though the NFC North is that tough division of football, it could be. But when you say Pittsburgh Steelers, you say playoffs. And if they don't make the playoffs, I think the Steelers are close to maybe not making the playoffs. And it will depend upon certain things that are happening on the football field.
Well, again, Sonny, I think the writing is on the wall. And look, Steeler fans don't want to hear it. If we ever hear from Bryce, he's probably gonna have something to say to me about what I'm about to say in Steel City Storm and other Steeler fans. The Steelers have regressed over the past couple of years.
Oh, yes, they have.
And I'm telling you right now, I don't see it changing this year. So, Todd, I respect his opinion, and he feels like Pittsburgh is going to win the division. I'm on the opposite side. I think the Steelers.
Well, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody.
I'm just going to say they're not going to make the playoffs. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, there we go. I was going to say, don't. Well, that means they're not going to win the division, quite possibly. So, interestingly enough, a little peek through the blinds there to get an idea of what we're about. It's a little peek there. But any other team that I think there is another team, and I'll bring them up and then you can comment. I think as far as when you look at teams that have been successful, teams that are now making some quick changes. Last year, we've seen some quick changes in New England. And that division, I'm going to tell you right now, when I was doing the background on that division of football, and you want to talk a 360 for the Buffalo Bills in reality from 40 years. Believe it or not, I have some of the stuff that we were talking about 3 or 4 years ago in a spiral notebook, and we weren't even they weren't even part of it. Tyrod Taylor brought them out of obscurity, which, by the way, understand what Tyrod Taylor did. He took them to the playoffs, but really you got to understand how they got there. Tyrod Taylor wasn't ripping the meat from the bone, okay? But what he did is he brought legitimacy at the quarterback position that they hadn't had for 7 years before that point. Now, Tyrod Taylor, again, didn't rip the meat from the bones, but he wasn't losing football games for him more so than other parts of the football field.
Well, at that time, Buffalo was a team that they were winning low-scoring games. Mm-hmm. They were winning those 13-10 games. They were, 20-16.
That they usually get the loss for.
Right. And even in the playoffs, when your Jacksonville Jaguars beat them, I think that the final score was like 10-6 or something like that. So
that's stupid.
Yeah. So, the Jaguars were the same way that year. It was all defense, just enough offense to get by.
Right.
And that's what Buffalo was at that time. Now, fast forward to today, yeah, you're right. The Bills have made a complete 360. They just made their franchise quarterback very happy.
Yep. We'll talk about that in a moment.
Yeah, and the expectations are definitely there. They are definitely a team that is expected to compete with Kansas City. That is, the 1B of the AFC, with Kansas City being the cream of the crop. So,
But think about this, Cuervo. The Patriots weren't. You're Cam Newton has got. I'm going to have to say this, and he's going to have a career year. I mean, this is a guy that needs to have a career year because they got to get past the Buffalo Bills if they're going to win the division. I don't see that happening, but at the same time, if that happens, he's going to have a career year, and he's also going to have to get some help, which normally comes from that football team based up on the mentality of the team. This team is not the same team we saw 2 years ago. Sorry, it's not, and it's because now, since they got rid of Tom Brady, and that's what ended up happening, they got rid of him. Now they got other guys that are thinking just like him, and it's really throwing a curveball to business as usual at what's going on in New England.
Right, and I mean that's New England's going to be an interesting team. They always are. If Bill Belichick is the head coach, they're going to be an interesting team to watch. But I think you're right. I think Cam, even better than the MVP season that he had back in 2015. He's got to top that. And now, him being 6 years older, does he have the capability to do that? And we'll let Tarvin answer that question. I think we know what direction he's going to go. But what I think what helps Cam this year, Sonny, is that obviously the Patriots went out and as the phrase said, they made it rain in free agency, and they went and spent a lot of money.
Yep.
And that was the only way that's the only way to improve your team literally overnight, is by going out and spending money on free agency. Now, that's normally not the Patriot way, but that's what needed to happen in order for them to compete in New England or with Buffalo.
Interestingly enough, they were just splash guys, not big splash guys, but splash guys you heard of, guys that they were, but big splash, they didn't go big splash though, but they spent the money like they were going big splash because that's the difference in the league and what guys are being paid right now.
They spent the money wisely. I think they made some good additions, especially at tight end. I really like the tight end combo they have now. As far as wide receivers, I mean, I guess we'll see the writings on the wall. But for Cam, it's just going to be about, and it's always this. And we've made this criticism about Cam Newton the past few years now. Cam has to be able to control himself when they lose a football game because he's a very when he loses a couple of games, it's like he goes into a downward spiral, and then it just kind of doesn't. It gets worse before it gets better, unless they win. Then when they win, okay, now you see good Cam again, and you don't see Cam that's he's wearing normal clothing. So that's the Cam that we need to see week in and week out, no matter if they win or lose.
Yeah.
And so if we can get consistent good Cam, then I think the Patriots have a shot at competing for that.
Well, if they get consistent Cam, they'll bounce back after a loss. Okay.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like you said, if he goes into like some depression, walking in like grandmama, on game day, then we kind of know where he's at. Now, but then again, you're right. By the way, you are right. I mean, they got a tight end tandem that's one of the top 5 in the NFL right now. I'm telling you right now, that is huge because it's not just one target at the tight end position, it's 2, because they'll run 2 tight ends big time. If that's what will win them the game, they'll run the 2 tight ends because their wide receivers, they're not necessarily as good as what they're getting from the tight end position. So it'll be interesting to see how they play that as they move into that division. And we'll talk about a lot of that when we do that. But next week, I'm excited. AFC and NFC South. Oh, man, my hands are getting warm. I'm looking forward to that one. That one's going to be – and that's where we'll start it off. And you want to know the division of football I want to know about, and I can't wait to do? It will be NFC and AFC West because I do. I want to hear your woman. I want to hear what she's going to bring. I'm telling you right now, I know what it is. Just, listen, if she's going to sit and watch football with you for 7 hours, she's no dummy when it comes to football. Okay, believe me. So I'm really interested to hear what she has to say about the Denver Broncos. I've got an interesting take on that one as well. So gonna have to wait until we talk about that one. Yes, interesting talk about the Denver Broncos this year. I don't know if it's going to be the same as her, so I might have to listen to her before I open my big fat trap. But I'm looking forward to it. Those are the ones I'm looking for. I'm looking forward to next week because I wanted the South and West. So when we get to the West, it'll be interesting, and hopefully we'll be able to get some be able to get the AFC North guys in to talk about Pittsburgh Steelers, and of course Obi will be in. Well, again, we might have to do a video and play the video of what they're going to talk about for their teams if they can't come live. And that will probably be part of the show here and there, just so that you know. And again, some celebrity picks, we'll be bringing those in. I'm trying to bribe Claire Carey to do it the whole year, but I don't think I'm going to get it from her. I think it'll be hit and miss, and we'll get a week of picks, here and there. So I'm looking forward to what we're going to be bringing there. And so yeah, hey, listen, we'll talk about it when it is. I don't want to give it away. But Todd thinks that they're an enigma, maybe so. So interestingly enough, now you made mention of it, and the Buffalo Bills. They go ahead and they bring their guy home. And I will tell you, Cuervo, in a day and age right now where guys are making some money, the $150 million guaranteed. Listen, that 150 is definitely going to get paid, but he's going to stay there for longer than 150 million. But I will tell you, Cuervo, when I saw the news on this one, and I thought it was actually quite interesting. This is the team that they've got their guy, and they just let everybody know about it. But when you think about the money compared to other football teams, this is really a drop in the bucket when you think about other teams that are going to be spending a lot of money, i.e. Kansas City, who damn near give them $500 million to play football. Patrick Mahomes and some guys. But interesting how they got this thing set up to where a lot of this, at least for this year and next year, are not going to hit and take a big slice out of the salary cap on the hard cap. So it should be really interesting how those things happen and how the Bills can improve. But they definitely got their quarterback, I think, in reality for the next at least 6-7 years, Cuervo. Yeah,
and you're talking prime level play for the next 6-7 years with Josh Allen. To answer Todd's question, where he ranks in top paid quarterbacks, I want to say honestly, son, I think he's number 2 or 3. He's 5.
Where he's ranked on top paid, I think he's 3.
Yeah, he's 3.
Yeah, I think he's 3.
I'm thinking about Prescott's contract right now.
That's what it is. It's Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, and then him. That's what it is. At least that's what I remember when I was doing some research and stuff. I think he is. I think he's number 3. I think you're right.
Yeah. But I tell you what, Sonny, Josh Allen, he didn't get paid.
No. See, he robbed him. He robbed him. I don't know if necessarily right. Listen. The Buffalo Bills don't spend money like this, and that's the reason why he robbed them. That's the reason why he got paid more so than anything in reality.
I love that.
Because I will tell you right now, Cuervo, this is a football team that don't spend money. And guess what? If you're going to turn your franchise around, you go get a quarterback and you pay the man. That commitment they made to him was at least 7 to 8 years down the road.
Well, here's the thing, Sonny. I mean, it's just like down in Miami, they've been looking for Dan Marino's replacement for 20 years now.
And Denver, and Denver as well. I mean, Jake the Snake, Plummer was about the only thing, and he wasn't great, but he was the best thing they had since then, I think. I mean, out of all the quarterbacks that came after John Elway, I think Plummer was the best one. I might be wrong. I might be missing someone.
Better than smoking Jay Cutler?
Oh,
Now, see, Denver,
no, Jay Cutler's really good at making a
Cutler.
lot of money and saying, "Yo, bitch, you ain't getting that after the divorce." That's what he's good at.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because I mean, he switched it on her real quick. But
Yeah, he did. And in fact, he wants spousal support from the business. That I think that's great. The turnaround is great. Yes, I know. I get it. I probably should. That's funny.
Yeah, Sonny, Denver Cutler was amazing.
Well,
he was. It was a Pro Bowl quarterback, 4,500 yards, 40 touchdowns.
Yeah, but how many Super Bowls did he win, and how many playoff appearances did he make? Cuervo, you can be that guy. You can listen, Cuervo. You can be the guy that goes in and does that, throws for the 5,000 yards and everything else. But guess what? What happened? There were no playoffs.
Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
No playoffs.
Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
So, you know,
Good point.
but at the same time, you got to win some games, and he did win some games for him. I'll give him that. But I think as far as success, I still think Plummer might have been a little. Maybe we'll just look at that one day after the season, because we got not 17 weeks now, Cuervo. We got 18 weeks. Then we get into the playoffs. So interestingly enough, you got to bring your A game if you're going to come here on the couch with Taylor.
I know I'm smarter than that son.
So there you go.
Mike. Yeah, I like that. Woo, get me fired up, Sonny.
That's right. Exactly. Getting you fired up because but you know, at the
Bears are who we thought they were.
Okay, you know, now you pull that off. Now you pull that stunt.
But anyway, so but by the way, Cuervo, just think about this. You know, he got paid, right? But do you remember a couple? I think it was just a couple of years ago regarding this money. Now think about this money. But look at this. Mm-hmm. This was said back in 2018. It's Jalen Ramsey, which, by the way, is a bad man. He wasn't necessarily a bad man in 2018, but his mouth was running. His mouth was running, Cuervo. I don't care what nobody says. He is trash, and it's going to show, too. Well, predictions are like asshole, opinions. Everybody's got one, and his happens to stink, okay? So there you go. Jalen Ramsey, just reminds you of a little history.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I know that, oh gosh. You know what? And they played last year, too.
Yes, they did.
The Buffalo played the Rams. No, they played the Rams.
Was it the playoffs, or was it for a playoff spot?
It might have been for.
No, it was. No, okay, because they're in different divisions. They're in different, one AFC and one NFC. And so someone had to win to make the playoffs, and I forget which one to get into the playoffs. And I think the Rams lost it because I don't think they made the playoffs. And I might be wrong about, lots of shots to the head. So, by the way, just to let you know, I'm a little bummed today, Cuervo. I'm a little bummed today.
Why is that, Tony?
Oh, yeah, last night, I don't know if you know, I was calling wrestling last night. I was on commentary, and the show was called "No One's Safe at SOAR." We have a masked marauder going around taking people out, and I almost wanted to be taken out. I don't know why, but I was disappointed. I thought I was going to get jacked, and I didn't get jacked. So I'm almost disappointed that I wasn't, but lots of fun. Hey, by the way, Cuervo, not because we don't talk about it at all. Take a look at this. I just ran across this about 20 minutes before we came up on air. Look at the medal count. The medal count. And what is that? And yes, I know it says Tokyo 2020. It's not a typo by Sonny. It's not a typo by them. They're just using that because of COVID. Okay, so just take a chill on Sonny. But yeah, the hey, listen, they're tearing it up in the medal rounds right there, Cuervo, bringing home 113 and 39 of them gold, far lead in silver and a far lead in bronze. And they would have a far lead in gold, but China's right behind them by one. But the rest of them not even close. So, hey, the USA is kind of kicking it up over there as far as medal counts up. Cool.
Yeah, exactly. And, congrats to both the women and the men's basketball teams, for winning the gold recently. And then the silver went to the U.S. in
gymnastics.
Gymnastics, and also in
swimming. Was it swimming?
No, I was thinking baseball. Japan won the gold, but the U.S. won the silver in, I think it was baseball.
Got it. Okay. Cool.
Which I didn't even know that they did baseball at the Summer Olympics, but what do I know?
To be honest, I knew they did them, but I forgot that they were playing because I'm not paying attention except the results or what news is coming out. Because listen, I'm not sitting down and watching the Olympics. Obviously you're not. You're studying too much probably to sit down and watch the Olympics.
Classes, by the way.
Yeah. I did one Tuesday. I guess Biles actually competed in one event. And that being said, just more than the fact I'm keeping track of the stories because obviously what we do on the show. So also to let you know, the new team values came out in the NFL. Take a look and who's on top. If you don't, you're just stupid. At $6.5 billion, the Dallas Cowboys. Overhyped football team. We talk about it all the time on this show. I mean, if the Cowboys aren't being hyped, they're not happy. But surprisingly enough, was number 3 for me, where the Giants are. Listen, I know where they are. Listen, I know they got fans. Listen, I know all this stuff. But man, they haven't done it. I can't believe people are still buying into what the Giants are bringing forth as far as that's concerned. Then the one that shocked me in reality is Washington at $4.2 billion. After all the controversy about the Redskins and everything else, they're still up there as well. And number 7 shocked me. Because, listen, I didn't realize the Chicago Bears were valued that high whatsoever, Cuervo. Why are they at the number 7 position at $4.07 billion? Why are they there, Cuervo? You should know.
Because it's Chicago Bears, Sonny. Bottom line.
Yeah, it's so you're talking about legacy then more so that keeps them going, that makes them that much. Really? I listen, Cuervo. I don't know. Really? I mean, legacy makes them that much. Do you think so? Well, they're the longest running team, right? The Bears, right?
They are one of the charter franchises in the NFL.
Yep.
How to number 7? That's. I wish
in today's game, and listen, okay, and I'm just going to say that one of the cheapest teams in the NFL, and the motto is you got to spend money to make money. Well, the Chicago Bears have made a legacy of not spending money and evidently making money, so they're just kind of doing the opposite.
Yeah. That actually kind of makes you wonder, like, where's all this money going? Where is this $4.075 billion going to?
Yeah, it's not going to players.
Yeah, it's not going to. Well, how about the Jets at 8? Holy cow!
You got 2 within the top 8 coming out of New York. So now, granted, that to me is easy to figure out. You got the biggest market in reality in New York, and you got 2 teams up there, and you got different sides of the city going for different teams within the NFL. So I find that interesting, but that really does not. But a part of me does because the Giants are just that bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, when you think of the Giants, Sonny, I believe there's a particular play that you think of. Or is it
because it will live in history, reality, because you'll never get rid of this because it's by the way, Cuervo, I could watch this 3 times a day and laugh right here. In reality, Cuervo, the reason why I laugh is because if I was ever skinny enough to be able to run that way, that would have been me. So that's the reason why I find it more funny. My gut actually pushing me to make me run faster, and my gut my legs can't keep up with my gut weight. And falling forward, that's why I find that so funny. Yeah. That one's archived right there. It's never going to go away. Hell, I might even play it in the Rowlett Eagles varsity football games when we're calling them. Hopefully, so I haven't heard back from those bastards. Hopefully, early next week we'll know more about that, so we can be up on the air calling Rowlett Eagles football, because I miss it. It's something. And I was thinking about this. I think there might be a conspiracy against. You're just making me wait. Making Sonny wait to be on. I don't know. So, there might be a conspiracy against me. I'm not sure, but so interestingly enough, obviously, the teams there. I'm actually surprised there were a couple of teams that weren't on that top 10. By the way, I'm just going to put that back up because I don't know. Even though they're community owned, I'm surprised that the Green Bay Packers aren't up in the top 10. I'm really not. I really am. I mean, so they're not worth 3.75. That's interesting. It would be interesting to see who's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and I don't have that, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but I'm surprised Green Bay's not there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Pittsburgh's not there either.
Yeah,
which actually kind of surprises me.
Yeah,
and I think another thing too, Sonny, is that some of these teams, either they're big markets or you just have fans everywhere. Like there's their fans everywhere you go. There are Steeler fans everywhere.
Yeah, and the Steelers in that top 10, that shocks me.
The 49ers, I think
they were on the list though. 49ers were on the list. Let's see, where were they? Where is it? There it is, right here. Team values. They're at number 6.
Wow, they're at number 6. Okay.
Yeah, they're at number 6. So, and Philadelphia though does shock me. I think that's a little high, but hey, I'm not the one to come up with that.
Yeah, again, I mean, Eagle fans, they're everywhere, Sonny. I mean, Eagles
they're annoying too. Oh man, they're almost as bad as Dallas Cowboy fans. Oh my God, and I'll tell you, it's more the fact that Dallas Cowboy fans, in reality, they're just a bunch of crying, whining babies. Drives me absolutely nuts to have Cowboy fans.
I'll say this, though. Here's the difference, though. At least Eagle fans know football. All right? See, the Cowboy fans, they're that fan base, half of them don't even know what, the first thing about football. It could be just like, I don't really watch football, but I like the Cowboys. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to win the division. Yeah, that's what they are. They're real dumb when it comes to it. But on this show, we just keep it real. They're not as good as everybody seems to think that they are. At least that, Dallas. Oh, my God, and I live down here, Cuervo, and I get to listen to that all day long. I mean, I cannot turn on the frickin' radio whenever I do want to listen to sports talk radio and listen to how everybody is just jawing over about how great the Cowboys are. And listen, by the way, that game Thursday night just proved exactly what we talk about on this show, Cuervo. The Dallas Cowboys are in trouble if they lose Dak, because they're done because of what they got. And there's a team that needs to be on the phone with some backup quarterbacks after Thursday, because remember, they were playing seconds, and he was getting eaten alive. In reality, that game was so hard to watch. It was unbelievable. But it was very telling at the quarterback position. And also, when I was doing my rankings, I had my rankings done for offensive lines. It made me want to change my idea of the rankings of the offensive line, but then I had to remember those were the seconds, so I didn't change it. But if the Dallas Cowboys have problems on the offensive line, that could get ugly too.
Yeah, and I mean, we all know the situation with Dallas, and a couple of those guys not playing anymore. I know one of them. I think Frederick.
Frederick retired. Yeah.
Yeah, he had to retire. Unfortunately, the way he did it's pretty sad. But I still think that the Cowboys will maintain as far as being a good offensive line, and I'll just say this, Sonny. I think as much attention, and this is another little preview. Everybody's so focused on Dak Prescott.
Yes.
He's the key to the Dallas Cowboys' success this year. I'm going to tell you right now, he's not. I'm not worried about Dak Prescott.
I'm not either.
You know who I'm worried about? You know who I need? You know who needs to show up and just go out there, perform, and make things happen and keep his nose clean? Zeke Elliott. If Zeke Elliott can go out there and he can just produce week in and week out, and you don't hear a peep from him except on the field, then that's when I think the Dallas Cowboys are the team to beat in that division. Until then, Sonny, until Zeke Elliott is consistent, I struggle to pick Dallas to win this division again.
Interestingly enough, I'm going to talk about it. I kind of snuck it out to Todd. I kind of gave him a heads up on what I thought about the Dallas Cowboys. But listen, offenses are going to – it's the Dallas Cowboys, okay? It's either something's going to go wrong, okay? So guess what? That's what the Dallas Cowboys, just look back in the history. Last year, it was that. 2 years before that, the defense was not there. And then the offense was rolling. That was the success, and they got lucky. So, interestingly enough, there's a lot of key things that are going to happen to the Dallas Cowboys, and we'll be talking about them in 3 or 4 weeks. So, that'll be interesting. And again, but there's no question the worst division in football. Is it the NFC East, Cuervo?
The worst?
Yeah, the worst division in football. Is it the NFC? Is it the NFC East?
I tell you what, they're pretty damn close.
There is a point. There's arguments to be made for them. And as far as that defense, or as far as that division of football is concerned, as being really god awful. But believe it or not, there is another team, another division of football, and you're going to have to do your homework to find out who it is. And I'm not going to give it away. So I'm teasing these babies. I got some good stuff that is headed your way, and I just give you the hint. It's not necessarily the NFC East. So. Yeah, Sonny's been doing homework. Yes, So I'm looking forward to talking about the divisions of football that are going to be coming, and we're going to just ride it on. And I cannot wait. But yes, there might be a division of football that might be a little worse than the NFC East this year. So something to look forward to. I look forward to it. So some other things that are going on. Okay, you got that. I was looking at it, so what I did is I'm glad I found it too. We talk about wide receivers a lot on this show, obviously, because they're a big part of what is on the other end of the quarterback. All right, so I don't want to talk about necessarily the best quarterback corpse. How about the best or wide receiver corpse? How about just duos, Cuervo? Because I saw this and I thought this was amazing because I totally am not even close on this, by the way, on some of these teams and where they are ranked based up on this one. This is, I forget the name of it, and I can hardly see it. All Sports Culture, that's what it was. Came out with this, and I think they're messed up a little bit. Because I love Jones and I love Brown, but I don't think they're number one. But looking at it, there's some good in there. I think some need to go down, and I think some that are overrated. Number 4, the Seattle Seahawks, Cuervo. I think out of this, on the top 10, might be the most overhyped duo wide receivers in the NFL.
Number 4, Metcalf and Lockett.
Yes, just overhyped. Because listen, I think I look at the other 9 and the top 10, and I think I'd rather have one of the other 9.
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, I think that. Yeah, it's just tough. I don't know. I think you could probably move. I like Diggs. I just don't know about Beasley. I mean, Beasley is that's such a big drop from Stephon Diggs to Cole Beasley. I mean, I don't know that you should rank Woods and Kupp that high. I know based on, their past performance, but now they have a new quarterback, so I don't know how they're going to look now.
I look at this, Cuervo. I look 2 and 3, and they should be 1 and 2 or 2 and 1. Because I'm going to tell you right now, when we talk about the Minnesota Vikings, these two are going to be a big part of what we're talking about. And I'm talking, of course, about Adam Thielen and Jefferson. Those two are going to be a big part of what Minnesota is going to be able to do. Now, we do have Aaron Rodgers back in the NFC North. So he showed up. He's ready to rock and roll. He's ready to play. But by the way, he's got some pretty good wide receivers as well. But if you notice, they're ranked at number 15. Do you want to talk about a drop? I think the difference between Diggs and Beasley and that drop in reality, Cuervo, is the fact that Beasley is that guy, that scat guy that will go across the middle, get those short yards. And in reality, when you talk about Cole Beasley and what he's able to do, it has nothing to do with going deep. It's more about –
don't hold back.
This guy, if you hit this guy, that being Cole Beasley in stride, he's gonna be really good for you. So I think I like where that one was actually ranked in reality, Cuervo. Because I think if you look at it, you go, that should be a drop off, but depending on where Beasley's head is. If it's not on social issues about getting the vaccine and it's about football, that guy's going to be a bad mamma jamma. But if he gets his mind off of this other thing, with the vaccine and whether or not he's going to get it or whether or not he's going to play, I don't like the fact that he's talking about, well, I'm not going to play if I got to get this vaccine thing. That means his mind's not on football. And you can say whatever you want about the vaccine, but listen, football has always been about having your mind on the game, not about other things that can take your mind away from the game, regardless of what the situation is.
Yeah, no. I mean, I agree. I think that, Beasley, just needs to get on the field and just start getting to work. That's gonna hurt them. If you don't have Cole Beasley, you don't have Cole Beasley in your lineup, Cuervo, especially with the other guy on the other side, the other guy's gonna get the attention. And Beasley one-on-one is gonna beat most linebackers because that's where he's gonna go, Cuervo. He's gonna go and slant right over where the linebackers are, and they're gonna use the speed to get past them. So that's where Cole Beasley does for them, and it's really too bad that with the team that he's playing on, Cuervo, you think about what that whole situation is, with Diggs and with now the guy who got, in reality got paid. That's not what you need to be happening for your football team going into it. So hopefully that distraction, and yes, I'm going to say it, the virus and COVID and vaccine, those are distractions, okay? But interestingly enough, Cuervo, we are going to have some situation where COVID and other things that are going to be part of the game in reality. So that being said, and I know, and I don't want to talk a lot of politics, but this affects the game. Because they're talking about forfeits and everything else, with COVID. Listen, you know what I feel about the NHL and the quote-unquote emergency goalie stuff. God, that pisses me off. Hey, if your goalie goes down, then you need to find a defensive man to go out there and play goalie instead of this emergency goalie crap. That drives me nuts. Same thing with anybody out on the football field. If you got enough to field the team, then you have enough to fill the spots. And if you don't have a quarterback, you're not going to play. That kind of, and we had that last year where the quarterback play was so much they almost forfeited the game, which, tells me a lot about a team in reality. They have no stones. If you have no stones, listen, you go out there, you get your ass beat, guess what? That's part of life. That's part of the game. Get your ass beat.
and then have your team do something about it. Because there are a lot of teams, if you lose your number one quarterback, there are a lot of teams in a lot of trouble within the NFL. Dallas Cowboys being one. The Buffalo Bills, if they lose him, Cuervo, my God, I was looking at that. They're in a whole hell of a lot of trouble. And then the third worst one, and as much as I can't stand the guy in Minnesota, but I'll tell you, if they lose Kirk Cousins, they are in a lot of trouble. So interestingly enough, there are some teams out there that probably need to have at least a game plan if something goes wrong.
Well, I mean, yeah, and those are good ones too. The obvious one too in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes, but I mean that one just goes without being said. I would also say that even up in, we were talking about New England earlier. I mean, do you think the Patriots would be in trouble without Cam Newton? Do you think that
what their opinion is? Stenham out there out of Auburn.
And I got a good one for you because I know your opinion on him is kind of strong, and maybe this would be one for Obi as well. If Baker Mayfield goes down in Cleveland, how much trouble are the Browns in?
Just goes to show what we're talking about, Cuervo. We've talked about on the show. Number one position on the football field is your quarterback. Always has, always will be. And you can argue number two, backup quarterback or offensive line. After that, everything else has to fall into place. And on certain teams, the number two most important position on the football field is backup quarterback, especially when you got Baker Mayfield, Dak, and guys like that. Hey, think about the Giants. You want to talk about a team that's in trouble? Listen, Jones isn't all that great. He's like ranked number 25th or something in the NFL at quarterback, and you lose him. Okay, he's number 25, and you lose him. I mean, the Giants, they better. And not only that, hold on. I'll give away a stat, which I normally I don't want to do before of it, but the offensive line for the Giants is the worst in the NFL. Okay, and then you lose Jones. You talk about a team that really, really needed to upgrade their offensive line this offseason and just did not do it. That is the Giants. You can say whatever you want. They play in a bad division of football, absolutely. But I will tell you straight out right now that not working on that offensive line for the Giants is unbelievable. By the way, there's a team in the NFC East, another tease. There's a team in the NFC East who is not very good at the offensive line that supposedly is. We'll talk about that when we get to the NFC East. But there's one that, the paper is wrong. Cuervo, the paper is wrong. And we'll talk about that when we talk about the NFC East. The paper is completely wrong on one of the teams within the offensive line in the NFC East. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be interesting. There's another one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
Especially coming off of the injury. Thanks, Todd. We didn't get that one. That one should have bitch slapped us because, I mean, that guy had a lot of hype as a rookie quarterback, which I normally don't fall into. I fell into it with him. I normally Sonny Clark could give a rat's fat ass about any rookie quarterback starting in the NFL. I fell, and I felt hard for Herbert. I think that guy's got the goods. And the guy and Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's another. I felt for him. Those, I felt for the hype, and God help me, Cuervo. I gotta stop falling for the hype because my theory is not wrong about rookie quarterbacks in the NFL.
Well, I'm not as big on Burrow.
Whoa, Cuervo, hold on. Did you just say you weren't, or you were? Because I want to make sure I understood what you said.
No, I am not. I am not as big on Burrow as I am Herbert.
Whoa. I vaguely remember, and I'm gonna be wrong because lots of shots to the head. I thought you thought Joe Burrow was the number one quarterback coming out of college a couple years back, or was I wrong? Or did you thought I vaguely remember you making that, and maybe it was somebody else that made the statement, so I don't want to say I completely remember, but I thought you said that.
Well, I mean, I thought he was the best quarterback coming out of the draft last year.
Okay.
You know, and I wasn't sure about Herbert. I'm like, I mean, he's an Oregon guy. I think he'll do good, but I didn't think he was going to be that good.
As a rookie. We realized where he ended up in the stats and the numbers, but as a rookie, right. Yeah, I get you. All right, I just wanted to make.
I will say this though, Sonny. Going into this year,
yeah,
and I will not back off with this one. I have moved Herbert ahead of Burrow.
Okay, and is that because of the amount of time that Burrow's been on the injured list compared to Herbert? Or is it from what your eye test? Like we always say on this show, and we thank Randy Galloway for it, but watching the damn game?
Yeah, so I watch the game, and I see where both of these guys are headed from, as far as winning and stuff like that. Now, I mean, it could be a case of just, Herbert is just on a better team.
Yes.
Overall. But I just, when I watch Burrow, I haven't seen that wow factor yet. And maybe I got to go back and watch highlights. Maybe I need to go back and watch the games that he was in. But when I see Herbert and there's certain throws that he made, like that game against Tampa Bay, if you remember,
yes,
they went back and forth, him and Brady, and for him to have that cool, calm demeanor against Tom Brady. I mean, because we didn't know at the time that they were going to be Super Bowl champs, but against that defense, like, man, that's big time. I think that
I agree.
And that goes back to watching the damn game,
mm-hmm.
and I see the difference between what Burrow brings to the table and what Herbert brings to the table, and that's why I have higher expectations this year for Herbert than I do for Joe Burrow. And look, Joe Burrow, we got to see where he's at as far as his knee. We got to see where he's at as far as his health. And maybe I'll be eating a plate full of crow at the end of the year. I don't know. But that's what on August 8th, that's what I'm telling you what I see.
August 8th, yeah. So, in other words, I need to write this down. We got to mark that down, right, Cuervo? Is that a mark down, or is that,
Mark my words.
It's a mark. Okay, I just want to make sure, because I'll put it down, because I write down to mark the words if we do it. So you think Herbert is going to be better than Burrow? Got it. Got it down, and it is marked down. It is in the new book, by the way. I got a new book. I'll find the other one. I always run into it. I just put it somewhere out of the way because I won't. I didn't throw it away. It's just somewhere I placed that. So I'll just start a new one along with the new season of NFL stuff. So
I do have a suggestion, Sonny.
Okay.
Every week that we do these predictions, our division predictions.
Okay.
For every division, we should have something where we say, mark my words, this is going to happen in the NFC East.
Okay.
NFC East. The NFC
okay.
West.
I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. So interesting.
So, for every division, mark my words, brought to you by Sonny Clark and Cuervo.
Absolutely. And does it have to be one for each team or just one for each division?
One for each division. I think one for each team is a bit much.
I think it would be. I think that'd be hard. I think that'd be hard to figure out. Mark my word on every team. But heck, I don't know. Maybe it's a goal I need to live up to. I don't know. I'll think about that. See where we go. Some other things really quick as we're here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. It's our Sunday tradition. Notice how I didn't say Monday, Sunday morning tradition. It's just a Sunday tradition. We go ahead and we'll kick it off. By the way, look at this, Cuervo. Bam! These are the 2022 Hall of Fame ballots. That guys are ready to go. These are 5 guys that are ready to go into the Hall of Fame. Good, bad, or indifferent, Cuervo. I think all of them need to get in there. And you already know how I feel about Steve Smith. I think he's going to get in there. I don't know. More in the fact I just really need to look at his numbers before I decide whether or not I think he's a Hall of Famer or not. I know you think he is. But Tony Romo, Andre Johnson, and DeMarcus Ware, I think, are Hall of Famers. So just really quick, I think those guys should. And now, I don't. All 3 of those, or 4, are not going to be first ballot Hall of Famers. DeMarcus Ware is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer in reality. So when I looked at all of them, and if I had to choose one, it would be him. But the other ones, I think, are going to have to wait. Cuervo, I think Steve Smith's going to have to wait. Andre Johnson's going to have to wait. And definitely Tony Romo is going to have to wait. So I think there's only one surefire first ballot Hall of Famer in that one.
For first ballot, I'm going to say 2. Ware and Smith.
You got that mad love for Steve Smith. You really do.
I do.
You've got some mad love for Steve Smith. I
definitely do.
I kind of figured that's who it was because I don't think you're that high on Tony Romo or Andre Johnson. I think you like Johnson, but you're not ready for Hall of Fame yet. That guy's gonna. You know Andre Johnson. Andre Johnson is going to be the next Tim Brown who had to wait 8 years to get into the Hall of Fame. So that's what Andre Johnson is. He's next 8 years. Because I don't listen. You're gonna still have more people come in, and listen. We got some good football players going to be coming in, and they're going to get in before Andre Johnson. So your boy Peyton Manning made it first ballot. Last year. By the way, they're having a ceremony tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah. Everything starts in about 50 minutes.
15?
So, no, 50.
50. So it starts at 6 o'clock my time, so 4 o'clock your time.
That's right. So for people that are confused, for everyone that's watching right now, I know normally it's just a Saturday thing, but remember, there was no ceremony last year because of COVID. So What they did was yesterday they inducted the 2020 class.
Yep.
With Troy Polamalu and Bill Cowher, Harold Carmichael, and Jimbo Cutler. They're down. Jimbo.
Jimmy Johnson. How about them Cowboys?
That's right. Yeah. And so tonight is going to be the 2021 class with Calvin Johnson, Charles Woodson, and, of course, the sheriff himself.
Calvin Johnson. He was first ballot, wasn't he?
He was.
God. These guys who picked this, you just need to watch the damn game. I'm not taking any away from Calvin Johnson, but I just don't think he's a first ballot. He's a Hall of Famer, although I don't. He's one of those borderline guys in reality.
Let me ask you this, Sonny. At any point in time, and for more than one season, was Calvin Johnson considered the best receiver in the game?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't listen. I think Calvin Johnson, and I might be wrong, and just not remembering concussions. I get a lot of them, but I don't ever remember Calvin Johnson leading the NFL in yards or touchdowns. I might be wrong. I might need to go back and look that up because I watched the damn games. I just can't remember the damn games. So we need to find. I will do that. We'll do that on research, Cuervo, and we'll talk about that when we get to the NFC North. We'll talk. We'll have that. Do you have it in front of you? Because I see you're looking it up.
I'm looking it up
because I might be. Listen, and arguably so. I might be off in left field. But And I know Matthew Stafford threw the hell out of the ball, and I know he caught a lot of them, but I don't know, from year to year to year. Now, was he top 5? Yes, I think he was top 5 in a lot of things, but actually leading the division, I don't know. Hey, listen, that's why I'm saying, it's respectful being top 5 in for any year. So, I don't know. And Todd says not number 1 too. So I don't know. I don't trust me. I don't know. Todd. I don't know how much he actually knows or remembers, but I don't trust my brain to say that. But if I had to guess off the top of my head, he was not number 1 anytime, any year. Maybe in touchdown pass receptions, maybe. But as far as yards and everything, I don't think so. But I could be wrong. But I think he's borderline. I can't believe he got in first ballot. That's what probably. I don't know. I mean, I watched the damn game. I was very much impressed with him. But the only problem is, Cuervo, when we talk Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson, that's all it was for the Detroit Lions, Cuervo. They never utilized the running game. They never utilized other wide receivers. They definitely didn't even know what a freaking tight end was until last year. So I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe he does have a lot of yards because that's all he threw to.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to look it up now.
Okay.
For some reason, it's not letting me.
So, yeah, maybe we'll find it. Yeah, in stats for 1 or 2 seasons, and well, no, I don't think that's what he's saying, Todd. I don't think that he's saying that he's number 1 through the NFL. I don't even think Cuervo believes that. I could be wrong. I don't know how much mad love he had for Calvin Johnson, but I don't. Am I right, Cuervo? You didn't necessarily think Calvin Johnson was one of the best to ever play the game, right?
I mean, I think he's I think he is one of the best, but is he top 10? No, I would say more like somewhere in the 20s.
Oh, okay. I would have been okay with around 17. So
the latest receivers of all time, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. We'll have to do that. We'll have to get the numbers. It's obviously Google don't necessarily know off the top of its head, right, Cuervo? So, so we'll have to research that one a little bit. We'll find out. But that's tonight in 50 minutes, like you said. So you're going to have a hard time doing homework and watching the Hall of Fame. Or are you going to watch just later?
No, I'm going to watch live, but I'm going to try and balance both. I will completely stop what I'm doing when Peyton comes on.
Yes.
So
yeah, you want to see that live. Me, see, I'm not. I guess maybe it's because I don't have anything emotionally invested in it. I know a couple of years you had Brian Urlacher, so you were hot and heavy in that one, and then you got Peyton Manning this year. So I get it and I understand it. Yeah, you're watching those live. Of course, Peyton's going to be the last one, right, Cuervo? I mean, right?
I would think so, yeah.
And if he's not, they're stupid. I mean, you save the best for last when you're talking, Hall of Fame inductees. So
sure, and Charles Woodson's another one that's getting in tonight. But when it gets closer to Peyton coming on, I've got this cool jersey that someone very special bought for me.
Make sure you get a picture of yourself in front of the TV with Peyton Manning and the jersey. I want to see it.
So and I'm sure you've seen them before. And I mentioned to her, I said, if we get to go to the Hall of Fame, I'd like to buy one of these jerseys. Sonny, it is a half Colt, half Bronco Peyton Manning jersey.
Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome.
And then I have a University of Tennessee hat.
Now, that being said, he's being inducted as a Colt, though, correct? Or is he mainly a Colt, right?
Well, I don't know if there's, like in baseball, you have the choice of what hat you wear when you go into Cooperstown. I don't know if it works the same way in the NFL, but if it does, I would assume he's going to go in as a Colt.
I would think if that's how they do it. Todd might know. I don't know.
Yeah, and not everybody wants to hear that.
Yeah,
but that's just the truth. All right, it's just the truth. He's an Indianapolis Colt.
He's definitely an Indianapolis Colt, and here's the only thing. When it comes to Peyton Manning, thank God he won the second one, and I don't care how he did it, because if Eli Manning had more rings than him, I think I would just puke. Because Eli Manning can't even carry his own brother's jock. I don't care, and I don't care if he didn't win the second one, he still couldn't carry his brother's jock. 2 lucky catches. The only reason why that guy's got 2 rings on. So I don't even want to hear it. But that is what it is. But as far as the Hall of Fame. So, yeah, interestingly enough, I think it should be an intro, but I will watch them later. I'm not going to – I think I'd rather – like today, moving up to the show, I watched Coach all day long today. All day long while I was, putting the art together. And for me to bring you this, the Indianapolis Colts, there is – listen, the Indianapolis Colts – now, I'm just gonna give a wait. Oh, wrong book. I got too many books on my desk now, Cuervo. I shouldn't have brought out the other one. But right now, I'm going to tell you straight out, the Indianapolis Colts defense is a team last year that we finally talked about. Listen, years before we haven't talked about them, but the Indianapolis Colts right now they've got a situation where they played well, but when you look at it, Cuervo, as far as the team is concerned, no one pops out to you at cornerback and linebacker for this football team. I mean, it really jumps out. But defensive line and their secondary, pretty good together, but not one really stands out. Not one really linebacker. They're just getting good play, making plays on the ball. Not really, Darrell Revis kind of play at the cornerback position. They're just getting good, consistent play. So my question, going into that one is, in reality, Cuervo, did they fool everybody on how good they were defensively in reality last year? Because when I look at it and see that whole thing, I can just see them going right back to what they were not more than 2 years ago on the defensive side of the ball.
I think there's that possibility, because if you remember 2 years ago, they were one of the worst teams in the league.
Oh God, yeah.
And so that was the year that I believe that they drafted Quentin Nelson.
Yes.
And I think they were like number 5 overall. So they were the 5th worst team in the league. Now, with that being said,
of course, that's the name of the show.
That's the name of the show. I think what you saw was a team that benefited from maybe playing a schedule that was dead last, or one of the worst schedules in the league. And so, and between that, and you combine that with the fact that, look, I'm not going to discredit what the Colts are doing defensively, but I just think it was kind of one of those, everything fell into place.
Coaching, Cuervo. Listen, when you're that bad, you can only go up. You know what I'm saying? And if you get 1 or 2 guys to take that step forward, because listen, that pass rush was unbelievable last year for them. So what that did is made a lot of bad throws coming for quarterbacks, and the play wasn't in linebacker, and it wasn't necessarily at the cornerback. Maybe in the secondary, in the middle with safeties and stuff, they were pretty good. But on the islands, listen, they weren't all that great, but when you're getting to the quarterback as fast as they were doing, it just breaks up the whole rhythm of an offense that's going in there with the bad schedule. So a combination of having a little bit better coaching, having a bad schedule in reality, made it look, maybe they're a mirage, Cuervo, on the defensive side of the ball, but we're actually talking about them being pretty good on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that they're not good or that they're not talented. I mean, like you said, we just saw it. Darius Leonard gets an extension. You still got Justin Houston. I think Malik.
Yeah, where does he play, though? Where does Leonard play, though?
Linebacker.
Exactly. And that, by the way, he is the only bright spot in that. Now, granted, when you got a guy that's a stud at the linebacker position, okay, that is really good for your team. But if the rest of the other part of that area that they play is garbage, that means he's got to step up his game even more than that. So, interestingly enough, I don't know. It should be really interesting to see how they end up going through and taking on this season. I'm worried about the Indianapolis Colts. Not only they got the offensive problems, but I think their defense could have been a mirage based upon the schedule and having halfway decent coach. Listen, you don't have to be the best coach to coach your defense to a top 15 in the league. Now, to get them up there to where their level, you can say whatever you want, okay? That all NFL football teams are good. But when you're top 5, regardless of the schedule, that should be impressive. But I see the mirage in what it can be. And listen, they're one injury away from maybe not being able to replicate what they did last year, Cuervo, in reality, because if they lose that guy, that totally turns that. By the way, he's on the outside linebacker too. Just to let everybody know. So that leaves the other part of the area where he's not playing, wide open. And if they're not that good, Cuervo, it's a little bit different. So I don't know. Interestingly enough, I'm a little bit worried about the defensive side of the ball and whether they're too hyped right now. So I'm looking forward to hearing what other people have to say. Hey, Jonathan's going to join us all 4 weeks, and hopefully he'll join us, through the picks, all 18 weeks and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to that. So he said he'll be here all those. But he's lucky. He's lucky because this team that he's going to, be a homer for is one of the best teams in the NFL, at all positions in reality, just kind of looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's easy when
he's not going to be wrong. He's going to be homer all day long, and you can't even tell him he's wrong. So that's the only thing. That's the only thing, because we're going to be hearing some buck talk coming from Jonathan. So I'm really interested to hear what he thinks about Tom Brady and his longevity, what he thinks that maybe it could be. So before we ask him, I'll ask you, what do you now think about Tom Brady and his longevity? Because if you listen to him, he says at least 3 more years. And the reason being, he says he wants to get 9 of them because he already has a wedding band. So what a stupid suck-up answer I've ever heard. But then again, when your wife's that hot, you got to suck it up a little bit. But there you go. So 9. Yeah, right. Yeah.
What's wrong with getting that 10th one? I mean, women wear their engagement ring, then put the band on top, right? You can put a Super Bowl ring and then put the band on top. You know what I mean? But I mean, whatever. I mean, yeah, just he could just go away for all I care. But anyways.
Yes.
But no, I mean, 3 more years. At that point, he'll be 45, 46, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he's done after 45. If he makes it to 45, I think 45 is the number. I mean, I don't think anybody played that late in his career. So not only will he be the GOAT, he'll be the longest running quarterback to ever play. So he'll grab that one up on it too. Here you go, Cuervo. This one is the one I want you to take a look at right there. The talks are heating up between the Eagles and the Texans. And I'm going to just say this right off the bat. If I am Jalen Hurt, I might be hurt. I mean, good Lord, you do what you do to get him all set and ready to go for the season, Cuervo. And now, they listen, when we're hearing the talks are heating up, it's leaking out. And because that's not just from one reporter who has a breaking story. This is all over because I checked, by the way, Cuervo. It's not just one outlet talking about it. It's heating up. It's almost a lock he's going to be a Philadelphia Eagle. And they're right there, especially when you're talking about what we're going to be doing on the show, figuring out where they're going to be in division. As much as I'm not a Deshaun Watson fan, he definitely takes that division of football and just turns it completely around. And not only that, gets a shot at the Dallas Cowboys in the same division with Dak Prescott. And so let the fuel of that discussion have. Who's better, Deshaun Watson or Dak Prescott?
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, that would be such a good situation for Watson.
Yeah, I think for us, we'll have a lot to talk about. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, there's 3 other teams. Obviously, your women's team needs a quarterback. Your woman's team needs a quarterback, and they might need to sell the farm to get him. And I don't care about all this other stuff because guess what, Cuervo? We haven't heard really one word about what's going off the field regarding Deshaun Watson in months. Okay, so out of sight, out of mind, no one cares. I think the Denver Broncos, out of all the teams in the NFL right now, the Denver Broncos have to sell the farm to get this guy. Now, and make it within the contract that if there's off the field problems, cause them any problem, they're not obligated to pay. And he will sign that contract because he'll want to play because he wants to bring home his money. So that'll end up happening. They need to sell the farm. Am I wrong, or is there another team that really needs to sell the farm to get them in reality? And the only reason why I say that is because I think the Philadelphia Eagles, if they stuck with Jalen Hurts, they probably got 3 years before they're going to be good. That's the reason why they're trying to pursue him as well.
Well, I mean, there is another team that I'm thinking of, as far as
because of injury.
No, as far as like a team that needs a quarterback because of injury, no, it's not. It's not a team because of injury.
Very well.
Yeah, I do need to jump off here shortly, Sonny. But the team that I'm thinking of is a team that lost their quarterback due to retirement, and I'm referring to the New Orleans Saints.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because here's the deal: the Saints are a team that. I don't want to say they're primed, but they have enough to win now. They're not at the top of their game as a franchise.
I agree with you.
But when you when you got a stud in Michael Thomas, which we know, it's questionable whether he's going to start the season off.
6 weeks. By the way, just to let you know, 6 weeks.
Yeah. So, but when he comes back. The Saints are going to be in at full, all hands on deck to get that team going. And so you got Thomas, you got Alvin Kamara, and you've got pieces an offensive line. You've got the
offensive line is real good, by the way.
Yeah, and you got the defense that's there right now. Oh, there's Calvin Johnson, that Hall of Famer. But that's a team in New Orleans that, again, I mean, they were almost they've been hovering and sniffing and teasing at the Super Bowl the past few years. You bring in Deshaun Watson
in every category. Their defense is top 5. And arguably top 5. They could be 6 or 7 in some other, but arguably top 5 defense all around. And they could be missing that one. And here's another thing. Think about that. And I'm glad you said that about New Orleans because Tyson Hill could be just like him. In reality, a running quarterback. And Jameis Winston, to a certain extent, he's a little bit wider, but he can run it when he wants to. So switching that offense in reality, because listen, when you bring in Deshaun Watson, you're changing the whole offense if you're the Saints. Okay, because you have a traditional pocket quarterback in Drew Brees. Now you're totally changing things up, whether it's Tyson Hill or Jameis Winston. That's why I thought Jameis Winston might be the starter, because if they stay within the same type of offense. But the way everybody's talking right now, Cuervo, it's going to be Hill that's starting. So that means you're going to see a little bit of transition of the offense from being that traditional pocket passer where they're going to have a lot of options for running.
Right. Yeah, they will have a lot of options for running. I mean, what? Kamara, they've got
Hill.
Hill. Don't they? I think they could use Traquan Smith in certain ways. I mean, he's got some good speed.
Yep.
So the Saints have weapons. They still have a good team that's primed, that is built to win now.
Yep.
And I mean, I don't know what Sean Payton's intentions are, but who knows how much longer you're going to have him at the head coach.
That's a good point too, Cuervo. Because he's a main guy, and you want to at least be able to, utilize him before he says sayonara.
Right. Exactly.
So But that's mad respect. So, interestingly enough, it'll be interesting to see where that goes. So I'm going to let you go so you can go TCB. Appreciate the time. And so next week, 3:30, NFC South, NFC AFC South. We're starting with the South. Ooh, yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll check you when you come back. Enjoy the Hall of Fame. If you don't get that picture, I will kick your ass. So get that picture and put it on there because I might have to add that to your intro. Get that picture into your intro. So
okay. Yeah, I got you, Sonny. I'll do one with the hat and then one without the hat. Because honestly, like the hat doesn't go with the jersey because the hat is it's like a dark gray and orange. Oh, and then I've got a half white jersey.
Yeah, it don't match. By the way, by the way, just tell your old lady you don't look good in a Dodger, shirt. Just in case she was mistaken,
Oh, trust me, I had to shower like twice after the game.
Definitely. Oh, Lord.
Let me just make something clear here, all right? I am a Dodger supporter, not a Dodger fan.
And sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And especially if you got a woman that likes sports, you got to cater to it because there are not very many of them out there. So you got to cater to it.
And Sonny, that's something I'm just not – I'd never had before, so
exactly. I get it.
Awesome.
I get it. Listen, my wife is a puke Green Bay Packer fan, but she doesn't consistently talk about it. So at least I don't have to listen to it.
Oh God. No wonder you don't live with her. Something. No, I'm joking.
On that note, I leave you with a bad memory. Bad thought before you get out of here. But it is what it is.
No, it's all good. We had a great time at the game, though. We got to see. Obviously they played Houston Astros, so that was my idea. That was my idea, by the way. I looked at the schedule. I said, "Yep." I was like, "That's the game I want to take her to." It was against Houston. Just because
did they beat anybody, or were they good?
No, nobody got hit. Nobody got hit that I remember. No,
cool.
But Altuve, I'll tell you, Dodger fans gave Jose Altuve the business.
Oh, I imagine. But I'm glad they didn't take it in their own hands. I think that's a little bit.
No. I mean, Dodger fans keep it clean. I mean, they
really? Tell that to the guy who peed in the Arizona Diamondbacks pool out in the outfield. Who was that little punk that peed in the pool? Oh man, listen,
the Dodger fan?
No, the Dodger player that peed in the Arizona Diamondback pool, and he's that punk. It just I can't remember his name, but I'll never forget it.
How long ago was this?
Huh?
How long ago was this?
This about 5 years ago. And now I got to find out who it is because that's going to drive me nuts. Dodgers player P in Diamond.
If it's who I think it is,
pool. It's that punk. He's a punk.
If it's who I think it is, the old lady's going to love this.
Hold on. Yeah, why are they not putting that in the top where I got to go in and look? It was that little punk. It's kind of like one that jumped in the pool and peed in the pool. Who was that guy? I cannot oh, jeez. I hate Google sucks today, Cuervo. I mean, you couldn't find Calvin Johnson numbers. Okay. And now we can't find out who peed in the pool. But man, all these are just saying the same damn thing and no name. But they came out with who did it, and it was that little punk that was always getting in trouble for the Dodgers. Maybe I should put in punk Dodger player, and maybe that'll come up. Dodger player, because as soon as I hear it and see it, I'll know it. No, not pink Dodger player. Man, they suck today.
Well, I guess they never said who it was.
Huh? Yeah, I know. That's what I was looking at. They don't say it, but it came out that it was the little punk. That was just the problem child. For the Dodgers.
I think I know who you're talking about, Sonny, and I'm gonna lose it if that's who it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I have lost it, by the way. Dodger player in trouble. I bet you will find it because as soon as I hear it and see it, yeah. Oh,
is it by chance? If I said the name, are you gonna know it?
Yes.
Is it Yasiel Puig?
Yes, that's it. That the little punk. He's the one that he admitted that he peed in the pool. The punk. Yeah. Thank you. I just couldn't get his name. So yeah,
that was the.
Does that surprise you at all, Cuervo? I mean, come on.
No, but make sure you direct message the old lady about that because that was her favorite Dodger when he
peed in the Chase Field Diamondback.
Maybe that's why, but I don't know. But that was her.
Maybe that's what she
favorite Dodger.
Get out of here! I'll talk to you next Sunday.
All right, Sonny, take it easy.
He's the MVP.
I'll probably chime in on Facebook for a little bit.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm not going to say I'm very much longer. I've got a couple more subjects, but we'll talk to you soon, my friend. Now, hey, NFC South next week. Roll it out.
We got this.
Got it. All right, very good.
I'm looking forward to it.
He is Cuervo. He's the MVP here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. 11 years running. Appreciate that, too. Yep. Catch you later. So, now, that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. Cuervo goes ahead and skips out here. Just a few more things that I wanted to talk about before we head on out of here. We're actually there's the reason why I wasn't going to do a full show today, but there's some things I wanted to talk about, and I'll talk about the reason why. Mariota. I want to get to this because this is a big story, especially with Indianapolis, and especially next week we're going to be talking about the NFC and the AFC South, and of course, right now, the Colts in dire need at the quarterback position. Mariota is the answer. Listen, you can talk about everything. Listen, I don't think Andrew Luck's coming out of retirement. I just don't see this. I could be wrong. I leave the door open that I could be wrong because I've been wrong before. But I will say this. As far as guys, as far as, how do you say it? As far as expectations on that division of football, Marcus Mariota, listen, Ryan Tannehill has turned his career around. And we talked about it on this show before that sometimes guys just need to get a different place to go. We've talked about this before. And Ryan Tannehill obviously needed that. What they were doing in Miami, by the way, just to let everybody know, they should have made a move at the quarterback position a long time ago. And the guy's name, I just love him so much. Never got a chance. I wish he got the opportunity to at least get a real game in. But the name's slipping my mind. Of course, that's what happens when you take as many shots to the heads as I have. But I saw him in the skills test, and he just had the definition of professional football player, professional quarterback. And his name just slipped my mind. He came out of he was a Mountaineer. The team was Kentucky. Kentucky. Cuervo, help me with that name. You know who I'm talking about. That's why I have Cuervo on the show. He's my memory better than myself. So it is what it is. But that said, think about it. So Miami makes and Ryan Tannehill definitely was a recipient of just being at a different place and having the opportunity because arguably he's top 10 quarterback. He was actually a top 5 quarterback last year. So you say whatever you want about it as far as that. Yes, Dowdy. Yes, Dowdy. Thank you. See, I knew I had him on the show for a reason. But yes, Dowdy never got the chance. And by the way, he's one that I'm trying to get on celebrity picks, and hopefully I could. I'm really working hard on trying to get that, and I only got a month to get the answer on it, so should be a lot of fun. But Brandon Doughty, one of my, that guy just had the skills. He had the professional. I think he had the skill set. And the Miami Dolphins never gave him a chance. He was on the practice teams for the max years that you could be, and they just buried him instead of giving him opportunity to where I really think he could be playing. No, I don't know. Would he be a great quarterback? I don't know. Obviously, the Dolphins didn't think so because they never brought him in when they had the opportunity to bring him in, especially with injuries and especially with Ryan Tannehill not playing well and all that stuff. So they never really gave the guy a shot. I wish they did. He is one of my favorite players, and obviously it's because I met him. Obviously because I watched him. Obviously I saw a skill set up close and personal. So yeah, big Doughty fan. I think he got robbed. I think that was a guy that just didn't get the opportunity when he had the chance. Yeah, I think he actually ended up in Arizona before they let him go too. So, but that being said, some guys do benefit from moving, and we've talked about it on this show. So Marcus Mariota, I think, on the move right now. See, the problem with Marcus Mariota is that this is a football team in the Las Vegas Raiders that can ill afford to let him go. Because you say whatever you want about Derek Carr, that guy's just an injury away. And I don't necessarily know if they'll end up letting that happen to get in there. Yes, you have proved your worth, just to let you know, Cuervo. And here it is, capable of being somewhere else. But the Raiders right now, how do they feel about Derek Carr really? Listen, the numbers were there last year. Let's not even argue that point. And if you want to argue the point that he didn't have the numbers or he sucks, you're wrong. Derek Carr was top 15 last year. Okay, and listen, there's 32 teams in the league, so he's just above maybe, but still, when you're talking top 15 quarterback, you're talking about a guy that's capable. If you go back 4 years ago, this guy was on the top of the world playing for the Oakland Raiders, and I even had him in the Super Bowl at one point. So this, Marcus Mariota, with where they are, if Derek Carr goes down, John Gruden is not a guy I think is going to let Marcus Mariota go. And if he does, they're going to pay through the nose for him. So interesting enough, we'll watch and see where that goes. But Indianapolis should be the obviously landing point for him, because he will step right into the starting lineup and shoot out there and give them an opportunity in this division of football that is not good. Say whatever you want, Houston. I don't know. Will Watson be able to turn that team around? After all the off the field problems, all the nonsense that happened in the offseason, I don't know. Tennessee is obviously the class of the division, maybe depending upon, other things. Jacksonville is not there. So if you're going to get an opportunity to start for a football team and you're Marcus Mariota, I think I'm trying to figure out a way to get myself there. Because listen, Marcus Mariota doesn't want to play second fiddle to Derek Carr. Okay, this guy's had success at the quarterback position, so I don't think he really wants to play second fiddle. I think he wants to start. And listen, Indianapolis, again, if you don't believe, if you believe it like I do, maybe on the Indianapolis defense, it might be a mirage. We'll talk about that next week. That could be. It just really depends upon how much Marcus Mariota will actually believe in the defense. Because listen. Say whatever you want about Indianapolis, okay? They don't have bad receivers. They have great, but they don't have bad receivers, so at least he's got something to throw to. But when you throw in the fact that this guy can run the football as well, it just changes the whole dynamic of what the Indianapolis Colts definitely are. And listen, say whatever you want about past quarterbacks who went out after Luck. That kid, he was never any good. Everybody hyped him. He just wasn't good. I can't remember his name either. Cuervo. But that being said, that is the place that I think he needs to go. And some of the things that the Indianapolis Colts can do, because listen, you say whatever you want about them. Think about a 9-7 might make the playoffs. A 9-7 might make the play. Well, hold on, 9-8, because they got that one more game. So a 9-8 could end up getting there. And the Colts, listen, without a quarterback, and I don't want to give it away, but without a quarterback, I don't know how they even come close to not being in the basement in this division of football. I mean, say whatever you want. They put a lot on Carson Wentz. They get Darius Leonard, who is believed the best linebacker in football, if you believe the hype. And I think he probably is. And that's probably one of the reasons why I think it may be and could be a mirage. But really, you think about it, there are a couple of other guys out there. You say whatever you want. Could Phillip Rivers show back? There's been reports that Phillip Rivers could be back, because of it. But I don't know if he will or not. Then you open the door to Foles. But you got two backup quarterbacks that will demand a lot to get them, I think. Say whatever you want about Chicago and what they're going to do in Chicago or whatever the case may be. That's a great insurance policy. But the Chicago Bears are known to want to get rid of salary. And Foles demands a lot of that salary based on his contract. So, and think about this. When you're looking at that offensive line, you got Quentin Nelson with a foot injury. How long will that keep him down? They say 5 to 12 weeks. So cut it in half. He's going to be out 9. That is huge, by the way, just to let you know. And say whatever you want. Yeah, there are a lot of things that are going on. Now, by the way, Nick Foles loves Frank Reich, but stressed that he has yet been approached for the trade. So where is Indianapolis's head? We don't know. But I will tell you, Jonathan Taylor, stud. T.Y. Hilton, overrated. Leonard, badass. Kenny Moore, mirage player. But I'm going to tell you right now, DeForest Buckner, 9.5 sacks, that's serious. But again, against the last place team schedule. So interestingly enough, you got a lot of injuries that the Indianapolis Colts have to worry about and a lot of injuries that the Pittsburgh Steelers have to worry about. So guys, that's going to do it for us here today. But I don't know how long next week's show is going to go. At least I think we'll probably dig in for the 3 hours. So we're going to start at 3:30. We're going to start with AFC and NFC South. Guys, I can't wait. This is what we work all off season for. It is for, the next, after these next 4 weeks, it's for the next 18 weeks. Never mind playoffs and Super Bowl. That'll take us all the way to February. And guys, that'll take us into our 13th year. And I'm excited. And if you can't tell, I'm excited about what's going to happen next week. You don't know me very well. You don't know how much I love football. You don't know how much I like breaking down using my strategy. Listen, no one knows what I do and how I do it and how I figure out these things because I won't give my secret away on how I do it. But I'm not very far off on a lot of them. And just as good as all the quote-unquote experts over at ESPN, Fox, or wherever, CBS, or whatever the case may be. So is Cuervo, so is Tarvin, and Jonathan is a badass. He knows young talent and how that works within the NFL. I don't give him much a chance. Jonathan opens the door for it. So join us next week for me, as well as Cuervo and Jonathan, and who else knows who will be here. For that being said, AFC, NFC South on the Couch Potato Sports Show next Sunday. Everybody have a great week. We'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.